again, everyone. Welcome back to Monique's Home. I'm feeling it's going to be a great episode today as we explore how to talk to your kids so they'll listen through positive requests. So before we dive into our topic for today, I first wanted to say thank you so much for welcoming me into your screens, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, and for all the kind words that you've sent me. I truly appreciate it. That's Millie. I feel like this YouTube channel has been years in the making already, just because my friends have been asking me to create one for some time now. My husband has been hounding me about it, but I guess I never really found that big enough purpose to create one before until recently when I remembered something that I realized back in university. And that was when I was taking child development courses, and I said to myself, these really should be required of anyone who wants to be a parent, of anyone who wants to work with children. And my hope for this channel is that I'm able to share a piece of me with you, that I'm able to share things that I've picked up along the way in my master's, things that I've learned through my professional work experience, through my personal life experiences, and that you're able to take that information and put it together with who you are, with the things you know, the things that you've maybe read on parenting books, maybe heard from other YouTube channels, or picked up from research articles that you read over the internet. Because really, there's no one way of parenting. There's no best way of working with children. I believe it's really about knowing who your child is, knowing who you are, and finding ways that work for your unique family and your unique situation. Imagine this. My children, it's not just my toddler, but all three of them, they love jumping on our couch. And ever since we got Millie, they would chase her around the kitchen island, round and round and round and round, never-ending circles around the kitchen island. So I know what happens in these situations. But maybe for you, it hasn't happened personally, but maybe you've seen it at a restaurant or at a park or maybe at a friend's house. Think back to those times and what did the adults do in the situation? What did they say? How did they change the behavior? So if we look back at our first episode, when we talked about the 5 A's of positive child guidance, most of those strategies are for encouraging appropriate, desirable behavior. What do we do now when we want to change behavior, when we want to stop undesirable behavior? So positive communication is crucial in these kinds of situations. Why? Because effective communication allows us to be able to express to our children what is desirable behavior, what is appropriate in a certain situation. And in turn, our children are able to express to us, to communicate to us things that they need, or maybe they're having big feelings. That is why they're engaging in such undesirable behavior. It helps us understand the situation and our children better. So one strategy in positive communication is using positive requests. For example, at a restaurant, a child is running around the table. An adult might say, "There's no running in the restaurant," or "Do not run." In positive requests, we phrase it as, "Walk please," "Walking feet please." This way, we are telling the child what it is that we want them to do. And this works because children, adults, we all respond better when things are said to us in a more positive way than like a negative criticism. Imagine this.
"Mom, you never pack enough snacks for me."
That doesn't sound very nice or respectful. What we'd rather hear is,
"Mom, next time can you pack more snacks for me?"
And that immediately sets us in a better mood, and we know what it is that she's requesting from us. Another reason why positive requests work for much younger children like your toddlers, your 1-year-old, your 2-year-olds, and even your 3-year-olds is because their language is still developing. And while that's happening, what they tend to hear are just the key words. What they tend to respond to are just the main keywords in your sentence. For example, I bake cakes a lot, and so when I do, my 3-year-old, he just wants to touch them all the time. And so if I go up to him and say, "Raphael, do not touch the cake," what he'll probably hear is just "touch cake." And because he wants to, that's what he'll do. So what I do, how I approach the situation, is I couple it with one of the A's in our 5 A's of positive child guidance. So I would give him an alternative and couple it with positive requests. So I would get a piece of paper, some coloring materials, bring Raphael to the table and say, Raphael, color the paper, please. This way, he knows what to do. I'm telling him the desirable behavior that I would like him to engage in. I'm saying it in a positive way, which just makes it easier for him to understand and take in. Positive requests also work for young children, especially for toddlers, because at this stage, thinking and doing are almost inseparable for them. It's hard for them to think of something and not do it. For example, again, when I'm baking my cakes, if I tell Raphael from the get-go that do not touch the cake, even before I've baked the cake or even before he's even seen the cake, that picture is already in his brain and that's what he'll probably do. For example, you're potty training your toddler. Instead of telling your child, do not wet your pants, couple it with an action. Actually take your child to the bathroom and say it's time for potty. Then the image of potty is in his brain. It will trigger an action of him going into the potty, and instead of him soiling his pants, he's able to go to the potty with you. Let's try some examples. Let's say your daughter, your son, your child is about to drink a glass of milk. Instead of saying, don't spill your milk, you can say it as,
Why not hold it with 2 hands? Hold with 2 hands. Okay, drink. Hold it with 2 hands.
Another example. If your child is poking your other child or hitting your other child, instead of saying do not hit your sister or do not hit your brother, you could say it as, hands to yourself, please. Or how about if you're talking and your children are just talking over you because they want to share their point as well? Instead of saying, don't interrupt me, you can say it as, it's my turn to talk now. Or how about at the dinner table? You're eating, your kids are putting food in their mouth, and they're sharing stories with you about school, which is great. But instead of saying, don't talk when your mouth is full, you can say it as,
Daddy, I have joke for you.
Renee, can you please chew first, talk later?
Okay.
Communicating this way, making positive requests may not come naturally for many of us. I know for me it didn't. It took me a while to really get the hang of it. I had to practice it. I had to tell myself, to tell my brain that I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk this way. But eventually I got it. Eventually it became more natural to me. And that is why I encourage you to try communicating this way as early as possible. Even when your kids are babies, even when your kids are toddlers and they're not really able to verbally express themselves to you yet, they hear it. They hear the way you're talking to them. And hopefully when they start talking, when they start verbalizing themselves, that they will communicate with us in such a way because that's what they got used to hearing. That's what they respond to. That's the kind of communication that seems normal and natural for them. So there's a strategy for today, making positive requests. Easier for our kids to understand, easier for our children to take in, prompts them into desirable behavior, encourages them to act in a way that works for everyone, that's appropriate for the situation. So that's it for today. My name is Monique. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you at the next one. Please like, subscribe, and share. And until then, please remember to make your everyday your own version of extraordinary.